I'm back. Alan Schnurr here, the apartment flipping king. So equity, what is equity and how do we create it? There's nothing more that I love than finding money that people left behind. If you can imagine that if you thought this room ended here and then you just opened up this closet. Look at this huge closet. Normally we have closets that aren't even half this size. That is such an added bonus. So, what do? I don't just run the carpet all the way through. I am now sectioning it off so people can actually see how big this walk-in closet is with this incredible floor that we're putting down here. Again, we're just rolling down the vinyl. So, we need to create equity. First of all, we want to buy cheap, right? I like to buy cheap. I want to find a good deal. It's like walking around and, I want to buy something that somebody doesn't want. If they want to sell me something at top dollar, we're not going to be the buyers for that product. So not only am I looking for a really good deal, I'm looking to discover what's on the property that I can fix, shine, make look great, and pop my prices. So now I can charge an extra $25 a month for a walk-in closet. Or now I can charge an extra $50 a month for a new ceiling fan. So we're really creating this equity, and here's how this all comes together. When you're getting ready to buy a property or refinance a property, the bank is going to hire an appraiser and they're going to come over to the property and they're going to use a few different appraisal approaches. They're going to use a comparable approach. They're going to see what other properties are selling for in the area, what other units are renting for in the area. They're going to use a replacement cost, which is what if it all burnt down, how much would it cost to rebuild? And then they're going to use something called cap rates, which we'll talk about in another video, but it's more of a financial means of figuring out what it's worth. So they'll use all three approaches, but here's the thing. If you start fixing up the building, if you start raising the rents, lowering the expenses, showing more profit, if you start making the outside look nice, if you start cutting the grass, if you just change the feeling, maybe even just change the name, each time you do something, you're creating more equity. And equity, and then there's multiples. In this business, sometimes when you make $1, it's worth 10. I've seen $100,000 of changes take place equal $1 million on a sales price. So that's equity. You can buy an apartment complex for $2 million, $1 million, whatever it is, make those changes. Appraiser gets in, does a few quick formulas, checks the neighborhood, and lo and behold, next thing you know, the property's worth $3 or $4 million. That's equity in your pocket, $3 or $4 million in your pocket. So there's so many ways we can improve and build value, buying apartment buildings, cash flowing apartment buildings, and flipping apartment buildings. Because look, if you want to get in for a quick flip, well then just fix it up. Do some minor fix-ups. Let a new buyer come in and let him go get the appraiser. That appraiser is going to use the same techniques I just told you about, and now the property that you bought for $1 million, put maybe $100,000 of work into it, is now worth $3 million. Says who? The appraiser. The appraiser who is working for the bank. The bank needs to verify the numbers. They hire the appraiser tells you, the bank tells you, everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. Equity, equity, equity. Start thinking about it. Start looking at things and say, how can I fix that? How can I improve that value? How do I raise that rent? How do I cut that cost? How do I create more profit? It all adds up. And look, you want to quit your job? This is one way of doing it. So I really want you to go back, watch this video again, leave some comments, and we continue the conversation, and I look forward to catching up with you. Alan Schnurr out.